back. It's been a little while. Still got the new intro music, ballin', and honestly, just having a hell of a time getting together ideas. I don't know if I'm just not prioritizing this well or whatever. That's kind of what we're gonna get into today. Just getting consistent with this thing again. Definitely having some good experience though, and good life reflections. So just haven't been putting it into this format. So we'll see where that goes. Today had a pretty awesome couple days this past weekend. Which was funny because I didn't put the two together until I sat down to record this evening. I kind of sat down, no purpose, just said I need to do something. It's a good piece of advice I got a long time ago. I think the something is better than nothing approach. But I saw a quote a while ago. It said something like, "People will take you places money never can." And man, that is a big one for me. I recently just kind of said no to a couple opportunities, events, and things I have coming up, which in the past I've done and I really enjoy. A little bummed about that. Not even because of the notoriety tied to the event, but just the people you get to experience when you're there. So that's kind of a bummer. But then this weekend, spent some time, went on a little trip, met some friends, met some new friends, visited some different affiliates. And, obviously it costs money to go do that. We just had an awesome time and flew out, visited them. What was really cool too is just these are people I've known for a while now, and I've kind of gotten to see a little bit. This is a little bit of kind of their life come together, moving, them just like developing their relationship and having new opportunities and navigating new jobs and all that kind of stuff. And that's always like really inspiring and fun to see. And it's always a good point of reference too, I think, when you see people going through those like accelerated phases of life and how they handle it. And I think these two handle it so well. They just seem like to have such good heads on their shoulders. And I don't see all the ups and downs, but from what I do see, I just think they have such a silver lining positive outlook on things. And I'm sure that's not always the case, but lose a job, change a job. Hey, maybe it was the right time for that, or what can I do next? Or maybe I can pursue this next thing. And they're patient enough to kind of look for the quote unquote best fit option for them, which I think is really cool. We got to hang out this weekend and did the fitness stuff. Got to go to a couple different affiliates. I always love that, meeting different affiliate owners, different coaches, and just seeing how they run their thing and put everything together. So we hit up CrossFit Fordham out in California. It's a great affiliate. Been there a long time, and I think the new owners have owned it for a couple of years now. But just love the vibe there and the layout of the gym. I think it's in this historical building, so had exposed rafters. I just thought it had a really cool look, and then got to work out, a little team workout, which is my all-time favorite. And it's always fun working out with people you don't get to work out with very often, because I think, especially that you meet for the first time, and especially in like that team environment, because I think workouts, at least the CrossFit type or any really fitness endeavor, if it's the right time domain, can be just so revealing about people, and it's just a great way to get to know somebody. So I love that. We did some echo biking, some dumbbell bench press, some sled push. The day before that, we did this ridiculous handstand walk, hang power clean, GHD sit-up thing. So that was really cool. And then I'm a Star Wars fan, and my friend I went out to visit, he is too, and so I've been telling him for a while we'd go out to Disneyland, then go out to I think it's called Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars part of the Disneyland out there, and spent the day at Disneyland, which there is a point to this, which was awesome. And I actually didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, because we were there for like a long freaking time. I think we went from like 11 until the place closed. So we ate lunch there. We walked around all day, and it's super fun going to theme parks just for the people watching. The rides were cool. The imagination aspect of it is cool. Just seeing like the effort into like the build of the entire park is pretty amazing. Like there are a lot of little details there. But one of the really cool things was that, we were there as a group of four. What was so cool about this? And, we know each other well. There was one person there I just met. And definitely the third person there, we don't chat as much, but we've hung out a couple times. We get along well. But anyway, man, there was just like no complaining. It was just like hanging out, laughing, and there's a lot of downtime waiting for rides, walking to rides, that kind of stuff. And it is just this like, you got to enjoy time with these people, or just sometimes just enjoy being silent. And it was just such a pleasant day. And I was just really happy for that. And it's always nice when you have moments like that, just a cool time for reflection. The other thing that I took away from the day, and so obviously, that really rang true with the, people will take you places money never can. Now, I tell you, Disneyland, not cheap. But I think what I walked away from that was like this group that we were in, we could have been doing anything and having an awesome time. And, it didn't have to be something fancy. And that's the realization from that. And you don't always find a lot of people like that in life. So it's a special thing and very cool. It's always fun to get to just learn about people. But that was kind of the point of that there. But the other thing I walked away from is, and I bet this seems like really, 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 I don't know, maybe cliche, but just, as we were kind of strolling around, just being goofy, and we went on like all rides. We went on like, I don't know, maybe the more like serious, mature rides, like the roller coasters. We went on like some of the rides that, just kind of have like a nostalgia aspect to them, but don't really have any particular thrill unless you just like really let yourself buy into it. Just how important the aspect of play is, and just kind of like being a little bit goofy and just, enjoying, saying yes. We went and did this little event there throughout the day. They have different times, and you go and you sit in a classroom, and the person who's sort of leading the event takes you through to like draw a Disney character. And we just, there was no like, oh, I'm not a good drawer, so I don't know if I should. It was just like, yeah, fuck it, let's go do it. And it was really fun. And the way they present it was really cool too. And it's also fun sitting in class and looking at other people and being like, holy crap, like that person obviously has been to this 10 times today. And then you see somebody and you're like, gosh, he sucks. And even though he's 4, but it makes you feel better. So I walked away from it just realizing how important that aspect of play is, and what's so cool about play is in a lot of ways it's unbounded. Like there doesn't have to be a specific goal. It's just like, I'm going to participate and do this thing because I'm curious to know how much if I'll enjoy it, or I'm curious to know more about it. That's kind of what I feel like play is. It's just, an exploration. And that was the day. And it was like really valuable and refreshing and rejuvenating, despite the fact that like you're on your feet all day, you're walking around. So that way those aspects of it are slightly to moderately fatiguing. But it did make me realize how much that there was some structure to it, but the unstructured play is, because we didn't always know like what we were going to go do next and why or where we were going to go do something. But there wasn't like this, we have to do 15 rides today, or we have to do this by this time. It was relatively aimless, except for the extent that we're just going to explore and we're going to do it together and enjoy. And that definitely happened. So I'm not quite sure how I go about incorporating that into everyday life. I feel like I've been doing a good job about that lately. And the reason I say good job is because I enjoy it. There's probably some out there who don't enjoy this as much. But just kind of like exploring and learning about new things. And man, it is just so damn satisfying. Because it also, to some extent, is something that you can decide to stop pursuing or pursue even harder, which is really cool. I've definitely felt like that with some new hobbies lately. Just becoming more interested in how I navigate my daily life here. A couple steps away from buying a sewing machine, because I just think it'd be really interesting for me to be able to sew up and patch up my clothes, which will be valuable because ever since I was younger, I just freaking destroy things. And I've realized that aspect of it is not something I'm really going to change about myself, but I like the idea of being able to like somewhat repair all of the clothes I've wrecked. I don't understand when people say things like, well, this is my work shirt and this is like my nice shirt. Like, it's just a shirt to me. I don't even get that. But anyway, that was the big takeaway. People take you places, money never, and there was something else that really popped up with that quote. One of the aspects of my job is we get to do these interviews, really, and it kind of has like a relatively dispassionate name. You call them user interviews, like someone who's using a software, using a product. They're really just like person interest stories. But, you'll interview them about some thing you're working on or some product or software and how that fits into their daily life. And does it help them? Does it not help them? What are their novel problems and the solutions that they've sought to try and solve those problems? And it far and away, I do a lot of work at a computer. I've talked about this before. Definitely not poo-pooing it. But the short-term goal for me, and I don't think I'll ever not be at a computer completely, but it's definitely like if I spend X amount of hours a day at a computer and, Y amount of, let's say I spend 8 hours at a computer, a couple hours away from a computer, I'd like it to be like more in the middle. So I'd like to spend less time at a computer. I don't know if I'll, with like things I want to do next, be completely away from it, which is okay. But, and I don't love it, like the amount. And my short term is like, how do I move away from that at some sort of moderate pace? But man, doing these interviews is far and away the best part of the job. And one of the reasons is they're really, because a lot of the times you get some good, honest feedback that is not in line with what you thought it was going to be, or it's pretty critical feedback. That doesn't happen terribly often. And it's better than Instagram and the social media stuff because you actually get to like sit and have a conversation with somebody and like dive into things more. And I hope that for the most part, I make an environment that both of us can be honest in. But God, I love them. I love them. Today I had one with a young lady, and we had, built something and she had used it. And, we had our underpinnings and reasons of why we built it. And when you sit in these interviews, you try not to do leading questions. And man, what she said of how this piece of software had helped her, and in the way it helped her, and the fact that she had shared, some aspect of how it helped her in her personal life, and that allowed to help her in, aspects of her career, man, it just felt so damn good. It like made me so happy. And to hear about how she thought about the challenges that she has as a coach and how she might try and solve them. And then we can have a conversation about, like, how do you do that together? It's collaborative, it's honest, it's a vulnerable conversation. It's fun. It has the ups and downs of, did we get it right? And if not, like, oh, cool, you're here and you're willing, give me feedback so I can go get it right. It's honest in that way. Man, it was just so good. And that's another one of those things that you can work so hard. That's just who I am. You can work so hard on something, but if I don't get to see the impact of on a human being in a real way, I guess that's why I like coaching. It's just, I don't have those interviews, discussions, interactions. Boring, but they're the best when they happen. So that was just like another example I thought of people take you places money never can. So yeah, I like knocked my day out of the park, aside from the rest of the good stuff. But there's somewhere else I wanted to take that and talk about it. But that was it. Those are the big aspects of play. Super grateful for that over the last week. And just always, it's fun to be around people who are, thinking about their own lives and how to improve them, but also doing so in a way where they're open to the experience and what comes next. So super happy to see friends doing well and just exploring new adventures together, and meet new people and hear about how they take on adventures and how they're navigating new aspects of their life. It's cool. It's really something there, just kind of talking to people. Oh, which makes me think about, so for a long time with this podcast, this is maybe excuse more than, but it's worth talking about for me to get it out there. It's for the longest time when I did this, I really wanted to do like face-to-face, human to human. I don't know who else I wouldn't interview a robot yet, but face-to-face interviews, like actually person in the room. And whatever the case is, there are probably some people in the area that I could go do that with, but I haven't taken the jump to do it. So now I'm just sort of using that as an excuse to not do interviews. So I think, and I've talked about this a little bit before, I need to fold on that for now and fucking build the habit and just start doing interviews, even if it's through the Zoom or virtual podcast guest. Yep, that's what I've been thinking about. Anyway, got this one in the bag. Had some things about friendship and humility I wanted to talk about, but we'll get to those. So yeah, more tomorrow.